Hello and welcome to anyone and everyone who's decided to watch this video. More Blockies! Blockies Galaxy Wave 2 titled SOS. Who the heck is calling the SOS here? These teams seem very one-to-one. It doesn't feel like one of them is being overpowered by the other, but I don't get it. That's the name. These waves have names. I do appreciate that these waves have names, though. Even if I'm making fun of it, I think there is some nice character to that. This one is called SOS. Wave 1 is called Roll Out. I knocked everyone over behind the box. Great. Great. I could reshoot it. I'm not going to. Yeah, this wave is called SOS. The first wave is called Roll Out. I didn't mention that in the first waves video. Get this out of here. This is what these guys all knocked over here come in. These tiny little blind boxes. Grimlock on one side. Figures. Grimlock is a chase variant. Metallic. He's got the Techno Computron brain transfer thingy. He's got a fish in his hands and a fire effect. I don't have the chase version. Boo-hoo, I don't really care. Grimlock schematic on the side, Starscream on the other side, Soundwave and Bumblebee for Wave 3. We know Wave 3's been out for a while. All of Wave 6 will probably be revealed by the time I get this video uploaded. Get that out of here. Now, let's look at all these laid down, splayed around men, and we will again start with the first one I got. Grapple, and something I forgot to mention in my video about the first wave, did they come with the Pogs? Of course they did. Wave 1 came with them too. Look at them, QR codes. Aw, beautiful, beautiful Blockies Pogs. Yes, yes, yes. Why? I don't get why they come with these, but they do. Anyway, Grapple, my boy. I mentioned this in my video for the Iron Factory version, but Grapple is just one of those G1 characters I like. I just think he's cool. I like the design. I like the personality. I like the voice. I think he's a fun little Autobot architect dude, and I've wanted a toy for him from so long, but I've just had reasons not to get any of the Hasbro releases, and I was kind of upset having to go third party, but at the same time I like that third party one, and now I go to a real third party, not some knockoffers that we call a third party, a real third party that's got the official Hasbro license, and they gave me my guy, and he's got this nice buttery yellow, and I do love him. I display him with the splayed out hands. He does have the fists if you want him to have those. And yeah, he's got his truck chest here with the windshield wipers and the Autobot symbol and all that junk. And he's got the little details there for his undies, little details on his legs. I like the little black eyes on him, like the letter I. He's got this missile launcher on his arm. He could hold that in his hand if you gave him a fist, but it's cooler on his arm. So he can shoot missiles or use it as like an energy detector. Whatever you want it to be, honestly. It's just whatever. And yeah, there's his yellow helmet and his yellow bucket wrapped around his helmet. He's got a nice stoic face. Not that much personality in it, but it looks good. It does the job. The faces are probably sometimes the weakest detail on these Blockies figures, but still pretty decent looking Grapple overall. And of course he's got his hook. And you can put it on his back like it is supposed to be, but you can also put it over his head, and as you probably might have noticed on that box I threw away, they actually have him displayed like this going into battle, which is very silly, but I kind of like it. I actually think it's a fun idea when Transformers use their vehicle parts in robot mode, so I like this little setup, this cute little crane arm thing. You can't really do anything with it. I mean, like, that is a hook. Like, if you had a little string, you could put it in there for, like, a display or something, but, like, this isn't that functional of a crane arm or anything. He's just a nice, simple little Grapple boy, and as somebody who has wanted a Grapple toy for a long, long time, I'm really glad Blockies gave him to me. I really like this grapple. Now we gotta talk about his repaint brother, Inferno, a character I've always wondered why he's not a bigger part of the franchise, because fire trucks are uber popular with kids, and they don't make Optimus a fire truck that much. Kind of shocking it didn't just replace the semi-truck as Optimus's default form at some point. And it's like, if Optimus ain't gonna be the fire truck, why not bring in this guy? And yeah, he is basically Inferno. He's got the wings because Inferno got to have those in the animation, and it's the same bucket area as Grapple here. So if you want to take those off, put those on here. And if you swapped the heads, which is really hard to do, it's actually, I did just easy. Hang on. Let's try and do it live. You can just... how did this hair get here? You can do that. And boom, you got a G1 toy version of Grapple with the gray helmet and the wings, but you're supposed to keep that all on Inferno. So just quickly put it all back. Put it all back. And Inferno, he is here. And I do like the differences between him and his guy there. Having the wings on the head. They didn't do anything different for his windows or anything like Ironhide and Ratchet from the first wave. I kind of wish they did. He does have different detailing on his waist piece, though, and he has nothing on his legs. They are just pure red. Pure red. And he does have a full set of hands for both arms, but if you want to be show accurate, he's got his missile water squirter cannon, whatever you want this to be. It is not compatible with the blast effects from the first wave. In fact, basically every gun here, aside for the Starscream Null Rays, can't use those blast effects. Maybe this one over here in Cliffjumper's hands. I haven't tested it, which is a bit sad, but yeah. And he's got the ladder, just like how Grapple has the crane hook. Inferno's got the ladder, and he can put it over his head like a little hat to protect him from the rain. It's very cute. It's very silly. I like it. It's a fun little Inferno. And yeah, very nice. I do think these truck boys came out pretty well. Pretty well. Speaking of truck boys, just knocking everyone over. I guess we're just jumping straight to the repaint. I'm not keeping my plans together as if I had any real plans to begin with. We got Shattered Glass Optimus Prime. Yes, Shattered Glass. I love me some Shattered Glass. And so far, the only Shattered Glass character Blockies has done, give me more, Blockies. Give me more. At least give me a Megatron to fight against this guy. And he is just a recolor of the Optimus from the first wave, except no Energon Axe, just the Ion Blaster. And you can see the differences between these two. He's got the purple and the dark blue that Shattered Glass Optimus is meant to have. He's got different undies from his thighs. They're two different colors on like Prime here, regular Prime here. And yeah, and he's got green details all over his windows and his undies, and the red eyes and the yellow crest. Also, his Pog called him IDW Optimus, which is weird because, I mean, there was an IDW Shattered Glass book, but no, he's Shattered Glass Optimus. And yeah, he's got his nice purples and his evil energy. You can see purple Autobot logo. He's got, of course, the Shattered Glass because, you know, that's where the name is. And he's got details to make it look like he's kind of got a Matrix in there, which is interesting because Red Optimus doesn't. He just has like generic tech greebles. And he's also got this other shoulder detail of like a little battle damage crack going on around there, which is an interesting touch. He is just a SG Optimus. He is purple. He is evil, and I love him. I love my Shattered Glass Optimus Prime in Blocky style. And please, Blockies, give us more SG characters. Please, 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 please. And since we are talking about a repaint, let's do the other recolor from Wave 1, Starscream, completing up our Seekers. And as you can see, he comes with a Megatron gun that he can go shooty, 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 bang, shooty, bang, 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 bang. And actually, I said nothing could could put on those blast effects aside from Starscream's null rays. I'm pretty sure I've put one of those on this Megatron and it worked just fine. Also, this Megatron comes in a bunch of different pieces. Like, he's in 3 pieces, which feels like a lot. Like, I figured he was going to be at least 2 because of the fact that they put the arm stock thingy, whatever you call this. But I was not expecting these to have to be taken apart. And it's interesting because this could have just all been one piece that you just forego this bit and just let it slide into his hand. But it is cool that we got the full Megatron gun. And it came packaged with Starscream, so I got him holding it. But you can give it to anybody you want. You can even give it to Megatron himself if you wanted. And we just got Starscream next to his lord, his master, standing side by side, just for a little comparison of the two. And of course, we also got to bring in Thundercracker and Skywarp. Come in here, Skywarp, in your weird colors, just so we got our Seeker boys together. And we should probably zoom in on them and probably just leave the camera zoomed in like that as the tripod tries to raise it up. And yeah, we got our Seeker boys together now in Blocky style, and ooh, does it feel nice to have the brothers united. Now, let's unite them, because we gotta keep going, and we gotta give a little bit of a more proper look at Starscream. Maybe he's got the white details on his shoulders. That's really fun. He's got some unique shoulders. These are his knees. On his actual shoulders, he's got some little ventilation details. He's got the red, grays, and blues, looking very patriotic for somebody who's evil. Very Homelander of you, Starscream. And yeah, now we can get Starscream out of here and talk about the other 2 Decepticons of the wave. Talk about our green boys, our green and purple boys, our Constructicon boys. Yeah! Only 2 Constructicons, because, well, no brainer, all the waves are out at this point. They did 2 Constructicons per wave, starting with wave 2, and in my opinion, that is a great idea. But also, why would you do the 2 coolest Constructicons both in the same wave, but first? Like, come on. I mean, maybe you have different opinions on who the coolest Constructicons are, but to me, Longhaul and Mixmaster, they're the coolest ones. And these guys are a great sign of good parts reuse, which, I mean, all of Blocky's is, but I think these 2 are probably the best example. And we'll start with Longhaul here. Here he is. He's a big, biffy guy. You can feel the strength in him, like the power of the primes. Combiner Wars version of him, although he's obviously not as chonk as that version, but he feels like it because he's got these big old tires on the sides. He's got the big truck chest and the articulated piece fin from his dumper that becomes his legs, but here's his legs, so he doesn't have an actual dumper on him. Bucket. And he's just a nice green guy, and yeah, I just like how he's done, and you can see he's got his little smokestack there behind his head, and his head is actually in like 3 pieces. This is like the block and the face are like in one piece, and the visor is another. It's really interesting for his build. He's got a little tiny Decepticon symbol down there, just to point that out. And he's got this unique welding torch gun, whatever weapon that you can put in place of a hand. So I just keep him permanently posed with that, because why use anything else? And he can go shooty, shooty, pew, 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 blasting Autobots, or you can have him welding some equipment on a Constructicon. work joint and just have him be there blowing some flames at something, going sealing up cracks and stuff with his Weldon torch, whatever you want this accessory to be. And he just looks like a big bruiser guy, as a long haul should, and I really, really like the way he is done here in the Blockies style. And now, if we bring in Mixmaster, you can see same lower legs, like I was mentioning about parts reuse, same shoulders, but they have the different wheel pieces here, because Mixmaster has the two to represent the back wheels of his 6-wheeled vehicle, whereas Long Haul gets the big giant ones, which are just a huge thing in helping making them feel so different, despite basically being the same figure, because Long Haul just feels buff because of, again, the wheels and all these dump truck parts. He feels big, and Mixmaster feels very slender, despite the fact that they're basically the same size. It's just really fun toy magic. Now Long Haul can stand over there in the background in the mess of everyone else. While we look at Mixmaster, probably my number one when I was calling these two my favorites. He is my favorite of my favorites. I just play around with him a lot, both in Blocky's form and back when I got my first Devastator back in Combiner Wars. He's just the one I like to play with the most. Something about Mixmaster I just like. And yeah, he's got, of course, the greens and the purples, because he is a Constructicon. What other colors did you think he was going to have? And for some reason, he doesn't have a face. That is very odd to me, actually. I don't get why he has a faceplate, but he does, and it does look cool. It's a nice sculpt for the head. It is that crazy Mixmaster head, and he has the gunning tower on it, and there is a fake mixing drum on his back. It doesn't spin or anything. It is just a half cylinder piece to make the drum, and you can articulate his head, but it is really hard to get your fingers in there. And in fact, the more I try to mess with him, it like comes apart, because his head is also like in two pieces, with the visor being a separate piece, like I was talking about with Long Haul. So I usually just keep him looking straight. And he's got no gun. Well, he does actually have 2 guns right up here, so instead, for accessories, he's got a little satellite dish, so he can do some surveying of areas, being like, beep, 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 beep. Basically, just looking for stuff. He can go on little archaeology adventures or whatever. He's Mixmaster. I just like him. He's a cute little Constructicon dude, Mixmaster, and I've just always had a bizarre attachment to this character. I don't know why, but I just like him. He's just another one of those G1 guys where it's like there's not really a reason for me to like him, but I do. And Blockies gave me a new, super cute version of him. So that makes me very happy. And one last thing to bring up with the Constructicons, just because I also want to talk about their little faction symbol popsicles, because they're purple and green, just like the Constructicons, little purple and green popsicles for them to chow down on, except for the fact that they don't have mouths, but whatever. And, well, speaking of characters that mean a lot to me, Cliffjumper, my guy. Oh my gosh. I don't think I brought this up enough the last time I talked about Cliffjumper in a video. Cliffjumper just means the world to me. He is so important to my Transformers life. He was just a character that I just fell in love with when I first was introduced to G1 through the 80s movie. Even though he's like barely in the movie, I just thought his name was cool and he looked cool. He had a cool voice and he survived. So really left an impact despite not being that special. And then the 2007 movie came around and he was not in that movie, but we got repaint toys of him and I got those toys and I always using him in the playtime, having him be my little avatar. I love Cliffjumper so much. And now I got him in Blocky's form, and he is, again, another good one. Surprise, they're all good. And he's a little bit smaller. He's got littler legs to make him smaller than everyone else. And he's got fist. He's got gun. He can fire the glass gas. And when you think about it, that's really horrifying. Glass gas being Cliffjumper's weapon. He can do some really scary stuff with that, but he never does because it is a kid's show. He's got another custom chest piece to make his car roof, windows, belly. You can see some lights on in there, and his windshield wipers. Very interesting. He's got this gray piece around him, which I guess implies that that's glass from his car moat. But yeah. And he's got a little spare tire back here with another window. And he does have other accessories than just his gun. He came with Energon cubes for some reason. And they're not pink or blue like Energon cubes tend to be. They are just plain clear. And they've got these hollowed out parts for some reason. I don't know what they're expecting you to put in there. But he's got Energon. He can take it and get some drinking. That's there. And he's got a little angry face. He's scowling. What you so upset about, Cliffjumper? I think I know. Let's pop in a picture here of Blocky's Bumblebee from Wave 3 right here. Bumblebee also, of course, has like shorter legs and stuff because he's Bumblebee. But they gave Bumblebee the car feet. The iconic car feet. Cliffjumper doesn't have car feet. He just has the regular Blocky's feet. He doesn't get anything special. Get that Bumblebee picture out of here. He's just got, special legs to make him shorter, special torso to make him Cliffjumper, special gun to be Cliffjumper's gun, special head. He's got a lot of special parts. But why not give him the car feet? He looks great without him, but think about how much better he would have looked with some car feet. No car feet for Cliffjumper? Really? Really? No car feet for Cliffjumper. Okay. But still, really good Cliffjumper. I almost want to call him my favorite. It's hard to pick favorites of these waves because I got a soft spot for that grapple because my first official grapple, I got a soft spot for the Mixmaster because I love Mixmaster, but I also love me some Cliffjumper. So hard to pick favorites. So hard with these blocky waves because they're too good. So, obviously, we got one more character to talk about, but two more figures. And that is, of course, the king himself, Grimlock. And this tiny little lizard that is also Grimlock. Because beast characters, no limitations on doing the alt modes, apparently, for beast characters. And oh my gosh, look at the juxtaposition between these two. You thought Cliffjumper was small. Look at Dino Grimlock. Wow. But at the same time, he's great because he's just so unique. He's like extremely different from everyone else. And yeah, they both came with the same gun. You can put Dino Grimlocks on his back, or you could give it to Robot Grimlock to like dual wield or something. And Dino Grimlock also came with some Energon cubes. I guess the reason him and Cliffjumper come with these are to compensate for them being so tiny. Because if you get them both, you get 5 cubes. I guess that's why they come with those. But yeah, and there's a lot of reused parts between the two Grimlocks for consistency that really help you feel like they're the same character. Like, his waist is his torso, like it should be. They come with the same shoulders. Robot Grimlock has printing on his arms. Dino Grimlock does not. And this piece that forms the body, whatever, dinosaur anatomy thing his arms are on, that is also here on Robot Grimlock's back. There is paint on this black cylinder, not on Dino Grimlock, though, which is interesting. And you can see that would plug into there for Robot Grimlock, and for Dino Grimlock, there's just a little port to put the gun in. So other than that, we'll just take a look at Robot Grimlock here because he is just another robot guy. He can do everything the robot guys do. No sword if you're one of those people who really cares about Grimlock needing his sword. He doesn't come with one. You gotta get the light up shining version of him to do that. And his head works like the Constructicons where it splits in half, the visor is a separate piece, blah blah blah. And yeah, he's Grimlock. He's got nice details, kind of like Long Haul. He's not that much bulkier than the other figures, but he just feels like it because of like the extra shoulder pads and the more three-dimensional detailings on his legs and the chest and the backpack. It just feels all really nice. His gun does look a little odd to me. Like, I like the Grimlock gun usually, but there is something weird about this version with the more compact body and the longer barrels. But I don't hate it, it's just not. It's not as appealing as Grimlock's blaster usually is to me. And also, he's got some nice little shading here on his torso piece to imply the translucentness that it usually tends to have on most Grimlock toys. Oh, and also there's like this extra black piece around his head as like a collar, which is a little interesting detail. But other than that, he is just another robot boy. Another robot boy. We know what Grimlock looks like. It's Grimlock. You like Grimlock? It's a fun little Grimlock. And speaking of fun little Grimlocks, we got the cute little dinosaur man. Ah! I love him. He's so tiny, tiny little baby Grimlock. And he is a bit more of a weirdo. He's, oops, pulled off his tail. Yeah. He's got a hinge here at the bottom of his tail. You can kind of rotate this, but there's no real point to it. His legs are just the arms of a normal Blocky, so everything they can do. Everything an arm can do, these legs can do. Ball-jointed feetsies. Unique to this Grimlock. He's got good range of movement for the waist. Make his torso do the wiggles, and he can be like, me Grimlock want to shimmy, shimmy on the dance floor. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, he can dance around. He's got ball joints at the shoulders and the hands, so he can do his little Grimlock poses. He can be like, oh, did me leave stew in oven? No. And he can open his mouth and move his head up and down and be like, rah. It's just a cute little Grimlock guy. Cute little dinosaur T-Rexy guy. Yeah. Blocky's Wave 2, SOS. I still don't know who's calling the SOS here. Who do you think is calling the SOS here? Is it the Autobots? Is it the Decepticons? Is it SG Prime because he's trapped in another universe? Maybe it's him who's calling the SOS. So let's try to get a little setup here of everybody kind of sort of visible in some way. Grimlock over here, Cliffjumper here, SG Prime here, and we'll put grapple here, I guess. And that's good enough, I guess. Yep. So, I've definitely been rambling on for long enough. So, thank you all for watching. See you guys around.
Hello everyone, this is Knockout. Hoping you enjoyed that video. And I'd like to say that if you want to see more videos as wonderful as my paint job, that this channel is the place to be. So consider subscribing, and that way you can be part of the winning team.